It's an old, not so old actually, about a 2-year-old Alps mountaineering lightweight cot. The worst thing about this style of cot is that the fabric has to be pulled over the end of the pole, and they don't give you a lot of room to do that. When you have gloves on like that, it's really slippery, so I just stash that. And push down on that with your palm while you pull this with your fingers, so unless you have strong hands, it's a real bear. Almost. So close. Yeah. There. Now you just turn the pole till the holes line up. That little spark arrestor has push tabs on it, so just give them a little squeeze and they fold in so it stops your chimney from going too far. 1, 2. This was generously donated to the channel by Michael from the Emporium Outdoors. So huge thank you for that. This is going to be a lot of fun to play around with, I'm sure. It's a lot nicer to pack this around than my snow trekker. And brought the Tinger dog along. It's just a quick overnighter because, well, I got a new toy and I want to play with it. So this is my new Danchel Outdoors Titanium fast folding stove. You're gonna see how that does tonight. Hopefully it keeps us warm. It's about -15. It's gonna be a beautiful night, nice and clear, unless the clouds roll in, but we'll see. That's a little past its prime. Whew. My homemade fire starter. This is candle wax, a little bit of oil, and some fat wood shavings. Uh-oh! Butane lighter doesn't work. We're gonna die. Oh, look, it works. Big old lump of garlic butter. Uh-oh. We're gonna have to relearn how we cook. This little stove gets super, super hot. So. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh. Just have to keep that on the back burner for a little bit. Got some beef sirloin. It's a little big for our pan, so we will just make it fit. Stop doing that. I'm going to try to sear it without burning it. It's okay. I brought a backup plan if dinner's a bust. Actually, I should sample these and make sure they haven't gone bad. That's awesome. Of course, they're pretty much so frozen that they snap when you bite them, but whatever. There's some garden carrots. A little bit of seasoning salt. Well, at this rate, by tomorrow I'll be able to drink my Coke. Oh, starting to feel slushy. Well, supper's over. The steak was pretty good. Now we're just relaxing and feeding the stove. It's actually pretty surprising. I haven't used a lot of wood yet, and I've probably been here for 3 hours or so. Had to engineer a mount for my light. Good thing I had a lanyard on my axe because I stole my paracord. Wired that, or tied all that up there. Going through our little goodie bag here and having a look at what we brought. My baffle idea for in that stove didn't quite work, so I gotta re-engineer that. Just wants to keep falling down, but haven't been outside for a bit, but I can actually hear it snowing on the tent, so it'd be worth having a look out there. Well, we're gonna feed the fire for a bit and then probably crawl into the sleeping bag, so I guess we'll see you in the morning if we make it that far. Well, I thought I would give the spark arrestor a try without modifying it. But that probably wasn't a great idea. It did plug solid overnight. I was just barely able to get the stove going this morning. I was wondering what the heck was wrong, and then I remembered, oh yeah, sure enough, it's plugged up. So I'm gonna probably cut a bunch of the little slots out of that and it should fix it. It's funny because what I used was actually pretty decent. It's dry and burned hot. Like, I kept this thing roaring. I didn't dampen it down at all. So I will have to make a change there. We're boiling up our second cup of motivation for the day. And yeah, I used up all my firewood last night. So, but I didn't have to cut any more off of that log, so that's amazing. Like, my big Nyko and my snow tracker there, I would have used probably 8 to 10 times as much wood. Like, that's crazy how much that thing goes through. But way bigger stove and way more heat and way bigger tent. So the Danchel Fast Fold Titanium here, it's incredible how efficient it is and how little wood I used with it. So I'm quite happy with that. Gonna have to rethink my baffle, but whatever. The tent itself, well, you can see I probably didn't have it pitched quite tight enough, but it was actually pretty tight yesterday when I set it up. So the snow pushed it down and it's sagging there and sagging there and sagging everywhere. But I've had problems with these style of tents before. Pitch them too tight and you rip out all the little eyelets for the stakes on the corners. So, but I think actually next time we're gonna build a bit of a tripod and hang it to get rid of the center pole, because this thing is perfectly in the way for absolutely everything you want to do. Like reaching into the stove from bed, it's right there. I mean, I could turn my cot, but just get rid of that. And my little camp chair here. This is a folding high back chair from Costco, and I'm actually pushing the tent out with it because the bugger doesn't fit in here. But yeah, I should have brought my little 3-legged stool. Oh, don't mind that. That's just my walking stick. It's a 3D printing tool. It's probably the only Remington I've ever owned and liked. It's a Remington Model 7, somewhere around the mid-90s, but it's in 260 Remington. Whitetail season is still open here. Oh, elk is open as well. I still have a general elk tag and a whitetail tag, doe or a buck. So, but haven't really seen much, and just a couple of tracks on the way in. But I heard gunshots last night at probably 8 o'clock at night, which is almost 3 hours after legal light. And then about 20 minutes ago, I heard 6 gunshots off in the distance to the north of me. So maybe somebody should have spent a little bit more time at the shooting range. Anyway, just about ready for some coffee here. I just had a wolf cross across the road, probably half a kilometer down there. I just barely caught a black spot in the middle. Had a look at him, and as soon as he spotted me, 90 miles an hour the other way. They're just getting packed up. That's the state of the tent right now. You can see that stove throws a huge pile of heat. That's probably better than 3 feet by 3 feet there. Now, I looked back at my pictures yesterday and I definitely had this tent tight. But, yeah, next time we're gonna have to throw out some more guy lines on it and see if it'll make the night. Quick little look at the gear. Alps Mountaineering lightweight. Decent cot, but I don't like short cots because your ass is always close to the ground. And in the wintertime, the ground is frozen and it radiates cold. So you better have a good ground pad if you're gonna sleep on one of those, because yeah, they kind of suck. I like my nice tall, 26 inches off the ground outfitter cots. They're much nicer. Trying out a pair of surplus Flectarn mittens. They're okay. I don't think I'd want them in 40 below without a liner, but they do work pretty good. Savota ground pad. I use that because it's a closed cell foam mat and it's got a big wide sil nylon backing piece on it. It's nice when it's wet out and you're camping on the ground or whatever, but the closed cell foam pad is actually really decent in cold temperatures. The Danchel Fast Fold. I think the people at Danchel Outdoors did a great job of bringing affordable fast folding titanium stove to market. When I say affordable, I'm saying that pretty loosely because it's still just over $400 Canadian, and I bought mine. This wasn't a promo or gifted to me by Danchel. This was purchased with my own money. And if I pay money for stuff and it's not good, I let people know about it. But no, stove worked great. My baffle idea inside, I'm gonna have to work on that. It needs to have a farther drop into the stove, because right now I only have a 1/2 inch, and it doesn't like to stay up on top because the stove has a bit of flex to it. So yeah, we're gonna tweak that design a little bit. Yeah, overall nothing negative to say about it. If you're looking for a fast folding titanium stove, definitely give them a look. This is about roughly 5 pounds. Roll up chimney is about 7 feet long out of the box. Assembles in seconds. It's pretty cool. Throws a ton of heat, and it's pretty easy on firewood. That was the rest of the log I was going to cut up last night, but when I started feeding the fire, I decided that, hey, we'll just let her buck and see what happens. And yeah, I burned up my last 5 or 6 pieces of firewood this morning, like 5 or 6 little wedges of firewood. So yeah, pretty successful little test of all this gear. I'm pretty happy. I learned some things, and I wish they'd make a tent like this out of canvas instead of the sil nylon or whatever they call this stuff. It's a ripstop material. It's waterproof. That's the problem with winter camping, is that you see all the frost on here. The same thing that keeps a tent waterproof when it's above freezing is what seals in the flavor when it's below freezing. So, and you can just make out the frost outline all the way around the tent, and there's a bit of condensation. So yeah, we'll make some changes the next time. Maybe clear our spot a little bit better, but oh, we won't get into details, but warming up cans of pop by a wood stove is probably not a good idea. This thing literally exploded in my face. Yeah. All right. Well, wish I would have had some more time to play with the Tinker Dog, but got away late yesterday. But that'll be the next video. So, all right, folks. See you next time.